or the demo session for the upcoming live training program under the title of Complete Reinforced Concrete Structure Design by using CSI Etabs, STAD Rcdc and Advanced Excel. And before moving ahead and before talking about the objective and the content of this training program and the conduction schedule of this training program and all the features of this training program, before of that, here I am expecting that you all attenders of these demo sessions are belonging to the different categories of civil engineers. The very first category, I am expecting that of those who are actually pursuing their bachelor's, master's or some higher studies they are doing, and they are having the interest in the subject of structural analysis, in the subject of structural design, and they wanted to become a professional structural engineer after completion of their academic, and with that intention they are coming here to see this demo session. And the second category, I am expecting that for those who are actually working on site, they have completed their academic and they are having 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year, 10 years of the site experience. Now they wanted to change their work profile from the site engineer to the design engineer, and with that objective they are actually present here. How this training program is going to help to achieve their goal, their objective. How this training program will help them to change their work profile from the site engineer to the design engineer. The third category, I am expecting that for those who are actually in the field of structural design, but they are new in the field of structural design, they recently have opened their design firm, design consultancy, or they recently have entered in any of the consultancy, in any of the MNCs, and they are not getting enough support from their seniors, from their experts, and they are not having the confidence to deal the complete project on their own. They have learned the software, they have learned the structural design from different social media platforms, and now they are seeking for expert hand. They can give the experience, they can give the knowledge, practical experience, and with that objective they are coming here to attend this demo session. And the fourth category, I am expecting that for those who are actually having lots of experience in the field of structural design itself, they have designed many of the projects, medium rise, high rise, every type of the project they have completed. Now the question, why they are actually present here? So they are actually doing the design with the conventional approach, with the traditional approach, either by manual approach, either by very old tools. Now they wanted to upgrade themselves to a nowadays trending softwares, nowadays trending skills, advanced skill, smart skill. With that they can complete their project in a short period of time. So these four categories I am expecting for our audience actually belonging to amongst any of these category. So I just want to ask a simple question. Just write in the chat box from which category do you belongs. Hurry up, write in the chat box so I can understand, guys. Write in the chat box fast, quickly. I am looking at your response. Shahid, third category. Dandapani, fourth category. Imdadul Momin is the fourth category. Yeah, fourth, third category. Shrikant Ford, Omer, third category. Vishal, Kutu, Bachur. Okay, good, good. Thanks for your response. I'm looking at your response. Rustam, the third category. Dr. Krishna, fourth category. Fourth category. Ankit is the first category. Shalu, first category. Mahesh, Suresh, Kumawat, student. Rajendra Kudra, third category. Anas, Alshami, third category. Okay, first category. Okay, Rustam from fourth category. Okay, fine. Abhay Kulkarni from fourth category. Okay, Wasim from first category. Hurry up, hurry up. You all have to respond fast. Okay, I got it. So you all belongs to different categories amongst all of these four categories. Okay, fine, I got it. Now, the second important thing we need to understand, if suppose you wanted to become a professional structural engineer, so what are the important skills, what are the important things, what are the important pillars that will make you a professional structural engineers? So amongst them, the very first thing as per the current scenario is your design software. Unless you are not having the command, unless you are not having the skill to handle the software, you cannot acquire, you cannot get your dream job, your dream work. You cannot start your own firm, you cannot start your design consultancy unless you are not able to handle the software. So you need to look into the market, what are the different softwares available. So many of the softwares in the market which are actually trending, you need to know that what kind of project you wanted to deal. Would you like to deal for the RCC structure? Would you like to deal for the steel structure? Would you like to do for the scheduling? What would you like to do? Either you want to do the detailing. What actually your objective? And accordingly you need to search into the market which software is in trend, and that particular software you need to learn in deep. You need to understand the commands of the software, you need to understand the algorithm of the software, you need to understand how the software is going to work. People are not understanding about the software, they are just learning about the commands of the software. And if you are going to do the design work, okay, if you are going to do the analysis work, at that time it is very important to understand the algorithm of the software. So if you wanted to become a professional structural engineer, you need to see and you need to choose a particular software for a particular project. And once you decide that, then you have to learn in deep about that particular software, how to operate that software in a basic way, how to operate that software in a smart way. People, what they are doing, they are trying to learn, they are trying to see all the software. They are not understanding all software is not needed to learn. You need to learn only a specific software for a specific project. So your first job is to search which software is actually required for your objective. If you want to ask for the job in any of the consultancy, so they first ask a question, do you have the command over the software? Do you have the skill to handle the software? To a what extent, to a what deep level you are understanding about the software? Can you interpret the analysis results? Can you interpret the design results? Can you read the design report of the software? Can you prepare the final report with the software? So people are lagging at this level, because they have just learned about the commands of the software. So I just wanted to express that if your intention is to become a professional structural engineer, if you wanted to design the structure, the software is the first thing to know as per the current scenario. And the second thing is to understand the structural concepts. Your software is not actually something else. Software is just made based on the design concept. So if your design concept is not strong, if your base is not strong, then you cannot understand the software. As I told you, the algorithm of the software is very important to understand. And algorithm understanding is based on the understanding of basic concepts. What are the different types of the load patterns? What are the different types of the loads? What types of the loads your structure will be subjected? Under the gravitational load, how your structure is going to be deformed. Under the lateral load, how your structure is going to be deformed. Under static load case, how your structure is going to be response. Under dynamic load, how your structure is going to respond. What are the different types of the beams? What are the flexure response of your beams for the column, for the shear wall, for the floor slab element? On what basis you will decide the sectional sizes, material properties for the steel, for the concrete, for the low rise structure, for the high rise structure? How I can decide the material properties? What is the moment release concept? What is the shear release concept? What is the torsion release concept? Why these concepts are important? And lots of things are there to understand. Mathematically, how to design step by step, how to design different types of the elements: beam, column, short column, long column, continuous beam, shear wall, with boundary element, without a boundary element, curved beams, ductile detailing, ordinary detailing, framing types, sway framing, non-sway framing. Many things are there, guys, and you need to understand all those things. If you are not sound with all those things, don't touch the software, because software is going to work on these concepts. People are just looking at the software and understanding the commands. They are not understanding the concepts. They are not understanding the base and basics. That is what the problem, guys. So the second important thing is your concept. First is your software, second is the concept, and third is the design code. Third is what? Your design code. And it's a very, very important thing, guys. Without following the design code, you cannot do the design. And if you are trying to do the design, that design will be definitely uneconomical. That design will be unstable. There will be no surety of the serviceability of the structure. There will be no surety of the stability of the structure. All that things will be in danger, and overall your structure will be completely in danger. Let's take an example. Suppose a person is driving over a heavy traffic road, and that person is not going to follow all the traffic rules and regulations. And you know very well, traffic rules and regulations were made for the safety of ours only, or the people, those who are going to drive on that road. For the safety of ourselves, the traffic rules and regulations were made. And if someone is not going to follow all the rules and regulations while driving over a heavy traffic road, he is not tying the seat belt, he is driving on a wrong side, he is going to cross the speed limit, he is driving on a wrong side. So tell me what will happen. Write in the chat box what will happen if traffic rules and regulation while driving over a heavy traffic road. If you are not going to follow rules and regulation, what will happen? Just write in the chat box fast. What will happen? Everything will be fine? Hurry up, write in the chat box. I am looking at your response. Accident will happen. Very, very correct. Very correct. Everyone is responding. Damage will be there, accident will be there, loss of life will be there, loss of vehicles will be there, damages will be there. The same thing will happen if you are not going to follow the IS code. What for this IS code were made? For the safety of the structure and for the safety of the lives, for the people, those who are going to live in that structure, those who are going to use that particular structure. So that's why I told you, if you are not going to follow the rules and regulations for the analysis purpose, for the designing purpose, for the scheduling purpose, for the detailing purpose, your structure will be in danger. What for these clauses? For the safety of the structure. What for these clauses? What for these codes? For the stability of your structure. what for these codes and clauses for your for the economy of the structure. So it is what we need to follow your design codes. Okay, this will be the third requirement. And the fourth and most important requirement is that having the experience. If you are going to ask for the job, if you are going to ask for the work, they are asking how many years of experience you are having. And guys, it is a myth that we are considering the experience means the counting of the years, how many years you were spent in the design field. That is not the thing. Experience is the count of how many real example projects you were completed. Actually, it should happen. The experience should count how many number of projects you were completed, what category of the projects you were completed, what kind of complication you were tackled, what kind of the problems you were tackled while dealing the real example projects. And that complication, that problems will arise when you are going to deal with the real example project. So when you are going to deal with the real example projects, lots of challenges will be there. How to read the architectural drawing, how to understand the architectural drawing. If you are not going to get anything from the architectural drawing, if anything is not okay for the framing and for the architectural consideration, then how to resolve that problem? How to decide the material property, how to design the section property, how to decide the section sizes, how to decide the positioning to prepare the structural framing plan, how to do the analysis in the software, how to do the correction for the modeling, how to do the load calculations, how to understand what is the algorithm of the software, what is the working flow of the software, how to do the scheduling, how to do the detailing, how to decide the type of the foundation, how to tackle the problem if the results are not matching as per your expectation, how to tackle the problem of the failure of the elements, beam failing, shear wall failing, a column is failing. If different types of the elements are failing during the analysis and design, then how to tackle that? These all things will actually add the experience, will actually add the confidence to deal the real projects. So these are the four important requirements. That is, first is what? Your design software. Second one is what? Your basic concept. Third one is your design code. And the fourth one is your experience, means how many real example projects you were completed on your own as a professional structural engineer. Now guys, at this stage also I would like to ask a question. Do you have the command over all these four requirements? Just write in the chat box, guys. Do you have the command over all these four requirements, or one or two or three? Do you have the command over all these four requirements? Write in the chat box. I'm looking at your response. Arfa no, second Suraj no. Hurry up, write in the chat box fast. Okay, most of you are saying no, some of you are saying that I am okay with second, I am okay with third, but not with all. Devdev no, Siddhant no, Idris no confidence, Shahid okay with first three only. Okay, you all are responding, very good. You all are actively participating in this demo session. I am very happy with you all, guys. Very active audience we are getting this time. Hurry up. Okay, fine. It's okay, I got it. Now don't worry about, we are coming up with this training program under the title of Complete RCC Structure Design or the Reinforced Concrete Structure Design by using CSI Etabs, STAAD Rcdc and advanced Excel, and all the requirements to become a professional structural engineer we were tried to cover, we were tried to sum up in this training program. And this training program will be suitable for all the categories of civil engineers, those who are pursuing their studies, those who have working on the side and wanted to change their work profile, those who are new in the field of structural design, those who have lots of experience in the field of structural design and wanted to upgrade themselves. So for all of them, this training program will be best option to learn and to fulfill their requirement. Okay, and this training program is actually going to start from 23rd of April 2026, and this training will runs for 2.5 months. Duration of this training program, duration of the live classes will be 2.5 months, and the recording you will also get. That recording will be lifetime accessible, and the session timing will be evening 7:30 to 9, and many things is required to discuss for the conduction of this training program that we will do at the end of this demo session. But before of that, it is important to understand, or it is needed to go in deep the content of this training program, what actually we are going to cover in this training program. So this training program is actually consisting of 3 levels: beginner level, intermediate level and advanced level. Now at this point people are getting confused that these are the three trainings. No guys, it is the one training in that we are going to cover 3 levels, or we can say the 3 chapters: beginner chapter, intermediate chapter or advanced chapter, or you can say beginner level, intermediate level, advanced level. So in this training program itself we are going to cover all these 3 levels, and in this time period of 2.5 months. Okay, so let's first see what we are going to cover in the beginner level. So in the beginner level we are trying to cover all about the basics of the software, as of all about the basics of the structural design concepts. So very first we are going to understand the user interface of the CSI Etabs software. We are trying to understand the commands of the CSI Etabs software, how to set out the user interface, what are the definition of all these user interface items, options. We are going to understand all these things in deep. Thereafter we are going to understand the history of this CSI Etabs software, introduction of this CSI Etabs software. We are trying to understand the validation of the CSI Etabs software, whether the CSI Etabs software is giving the right result or not, with a small projects, with a small problems, how to assign the load, point load, uniformly distributed load, line load, aerial load, and you will come to know whether the results given by the Etabs software are reliable or not. So validation is very important, that we are going to see. Thereafter we are going to see in deep about the commands of this CSI Etabs software. Unless you are not confident to handle the software, unless you are not having the skill to operate the software, unless you are not having the skill to smartly use the software, you cannot go for the real example projects. So what are the file formats of the Etabs software, how to operate the software? Okay, what is the set display option, what is the one story, similar story, all story option, what is the selection, deselection, invert selection, reverse selection, how to apply the load patterns, how to apply the load cases, how to define the load combinations, what does mean by the snap options, how to add the additional elevation, how to define the sets of the diameters of the bars, global axis, local axis, how to measure the distances, how to create the levels. Many things are there, I have listed some of the commands here, but likewise hundreds of commands we need to learn, and we are going to see in this training program. So after understanding of this important command section of this training program, you will feel confident to use the software. In that level we are going to see the software, and this will not be the end. After this we are going to take one dummy project, we are going to take one sample project further to understand the software, So we are going to do the modeling. What are the different options to do the modeling of the column? What are different options to do the modeling of the beam? Straight beam, inclined beam, curved beam, normal slab edges, curved edges, zigzag edges. How to model different complicated geometry structure in the CSI Etabs software. How to model the cantilever beam, how to model the bracing for the beam, inclined column, how to do that, how to model the structure at different levels, that we are going to see. And thereafter we are going to see the analysis, how to interpret the analysis result, how to interpret the reaction analysis result, how to see the values, how to decide primary beam, secondary beam, tertiary beam, how to correct the model if any modeling error is there, if any analysis error is there, how to check your model, that we are going to understand. And in that way guys, we are going to complete this beginner level, and after the completion of this beginner level, our participants, those who are going to join this training program, they will feel confident to handle the software. Just a second. Yeah, so this is the first beginner level. After the completion of the beginner level, we are moving towards the intermediate level. But before of going for the intermediate level and what we are going to see in the intermediate level, just write in the chat box how you got the complete idea, what you are going to learn and what you are going to get from your beginner level. Write in the chat box, I got it. If you got what we are going to cover and what you are going to learn from the beginner level, just write in the chat box, I got it. Hurry up. I got this. Fast. All should have to respond quickly, fast. Yes, good. Everyone is responding. Very good. Sonu got it. Nafis, yes. Shrikant, yes. Ketu, yes. Okay, fine. Good. Everyone is responding. Thank you very much you all for quickly responding to my question. Okay, now what we are going to cover in the intermediate level. Guys, intermediate level is very much important in our training program. Why it is important, you will understand this. In this intermediate level, our objective is to give the real experience to our participants to deal the real example project. And after the completion of our intermediate level, the participant will feel confident that they can deal the complete project from architectural drawing to till the releasing the drawing for the site execution. Everything our participant can do after the completion of intermediate level. Why? Because in intermediate level we are going to take one real example project, and that project will be of any of the metropolitan city, that may be Bombay, that will be maybe Pune, that may be Hyderabad, that may be your Bangalore. In any of the metropolitan cities, complicated project, complicated geometry, architectural geometry we are going to consider for our intermediate level. And once you get your architectural drawing, your first job is to read the architectural drawing. So you should have the knowledge how to read the architectural drawing, how to understand the architectural drawing. And if you are not getting anything from the architectural drawing, then how to discuss it with your architect. If any correction is required, how you can how you can ask with your architect. That all things we are going to see. How to understand the in-plan definition of your architect, how to understand the overheight definition of the architectural plan. Okay, so everything we are going to learn in this. And in the second stage, you need to prepare your structural framing plan. This kind of structural framing plan you need to prepare before for going the Etabs software. Before entering to the Etabs software, you need to first prepare the structural framing plan. It is the skeleton of your structure, as our human body is based on skeleton. Bones are there. There is a structure of bones. Likewise, for your structure, it is the skeleton. It is the bone of the structure. Your structure will be stable in respect of the stability of your framing system. So what are the different framing system? Framed structural system, structural wall system, combined structural system, that all types we will discuss in our training program. So this structural framing plan you need to prepare, and before of preparing the structural framing plan, you need to decide lots of important things. First is what material property you should have to choose, what grade of concrete, what grade of steel. So there is some concept while deciding the grade of materials. What section sizes of the elements I should have to choose, what preliminary section size of the beam should be, what preliminary section size of the column should be, बीम का साइज क्या होना चाहिए, कॉलम का साइज क्या होना चाहिए. That we need to decide at the early stage, at the preliminary stage. What material I should have to choose, M20 grade of concrete I should have to choose. If 500 grade of steel I should have to choose. If 550 I should have to choose. What grade of steel I should have to choose. Either it is dependent on the number of floors, or it is not dependent on the number of floors. That you need to know. And for all that concept, for all that understanding, guys, we were prepared, or we have taken in notes and forming in a form of booklets. So there is a book of practical guide for the RCC structure design by using CSI, Etabs, STAD, Rcdc and Excel. In the light of this book of practical guide, we are going to complete our real example projects. So you will find every thing step by step, how to complete your real example project. So how to decide the preliminary section size, material properties, thereafter how to decide the positioning of the elements. There are multiple points to be followed to decide the positioning of the column, positioning of the beam, orientation of the column. Either I have to put this column as horizontal, either I have to put this column vertical. If I am going to put horizontal, so you can ask me why I am going to put it as horizontal. If I am going to put it as vertical, then you can ask me why this column is I am going to choose as vertical. So orientation, how to decide. These all things will finally important to prepare your structural framing plan. Once you decide all those things, now your structural framing plan will get ready. And once your structural framing plan gets ready, you need to prepare the grid lines, you need to prepare the center line plan. Now again one more question, what is the grid line, what is the center line plan, why it is needed to prepare, how it is needed to be prepared. Okay, so how to do this, that also we are going to cover in detail in our training program. And after all of this, guys, we need to initiate our work in the Etabs software, and the first step is to create the reference line, to create the grid lines in the Etabs software. So what are the different methods to prepare the grid lines? Offset point method is there, Etabs method, Etabs template option is there, export import method and option is there. So which method, which option is required to adopt for which kind of situation, for which kind of the project, कौन सा मेथड हमें चूज करना है, कौन सा मेथड हमें अडॉप्ट करना है, फॉर किस प्रोजेक्ट के लिए हमें अडॉप्ट करना है, दैट इज व्हाट वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, एंड वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस दैट. Okay, and after all of that, we need to start doing the modeling. मॉडलिंग स्टार्ट करना है with a smart approach. In a short period of time we need to complete the modeling. So how to do the quick modeling of the column, how to do the quick modeling of the beam, how to do the quick modeling of the floor slab, how to do the quick modeling of the staircase. Okay, how there are three ways to consider the staircase: normal staircase, second normal slab element as a staircase, doing the load calculation of the staircase and applying over your model. So all of the three options that the structural engineers are adopting, we are going to discuss in our training program. And with all of that we are going to complete our modeling work. Once your modeling work gets completed, then what does it mean by the moment release concept, torsion release concepts, how to implement in the Etabs software, what are the different types of the torsion: primary torsion, secondary torsion, primary beam, secondary beam, tertiary beam, how to implement the movement, partial movement release, partial torsion release, how to implement all those things we are going to see. And that all definition, that all explanation were given in your book of practical guide. In the light of the explanation of the book of practical guide, we are going to complete this project. Once again I am going to repeat here. Okay, so after completion of all of these things, now the time to assign the load. What are the loads to which your structure is going to be subjected? Gravitational load, lateral load. Okay, in lateral load what loads will be there? Wind load will be there, earthquake load will be there. In gravitational, live load will be there, dead load will be there, superimposed dead load will be there. How to do the calculation, what are the respective codes are available. Okay, how to do the calculation for the loads, and if their lift machine, a lift is there, so how to do the calculation for the lift machine room, how to do the calculation for the overhead water tank load, for the overhead water tank slab, how to do all this calculation, that we are going to see. And after that, how to define the load combination. What does it mean by the service load combination, what does it mean by the factor load combination, what does it mean by the load envelope. People are asking question, sir, either it is required to use the envelope, is there any problem with the envelope? So they are actually not knowing whether to use the envelope or not. How to define the envelope, what is the purpose of envelope, can we do the design with the envelope load combination. These all are the very practical and important questions. We will answer to all of these questions in our program in detail. Service load combination for the static case, for the dynamic case, for the orthogonal structure, for the non-orthogonal structure, how to do the load combination. For every category of the projects we will learn how to define the load combination, because your structure is going to be designed based on the load combination. And if your load combination is wrong, people are not understanding the load combination, and they are going to do the design, they are going to do the serviceability checks. If your load combination is wrong, how your analysis and design result will be right? Okay, so that is also we are going to see. And once you are completed the analysis, how to interpret the analysis results, whether all the applied loads are transferred to the respective members or not. Sometimes what happen, those who are not expert to handle the software, what they are doing the modeling right, they are doing the load assignment in a wrong way, so the load is not transferring to all the members. So how you can ensure whether the all loads that you were assigned is correctly transferred to the supporting member, all the columns are subjected to respective loading or not. What is the reversal action? If you are going to see your beam, so what we are expecting, our beam will be subjected to this kind of response if it is simply supported beam. If it is a fixed type of the beam, so bending moment diagram will be like this. But if you are going to see this particular beam, so it is subjected to positive moment, negative moment at every of the section. So what does it mean? Every beam you will find at every section the positive moment, negative moment. So this is going to be called as reversal action. It is going to be called as what? Reversal action. What does it mean by the reversal action? That is very important to understand. When your structure is subjected to lateral load in addition to your gravitational load, Normally during our academic time, when we are analyzed our structure under the gravitational load only, at that time at one section for a beam you will get one stress. But when your structure is subjected to the lateral load in addition to your gravitational load, at every of the section you will get sagging moment, hogging moment, positive moment, negative moment. Both of the stresses you are getting at one section. So how to understand all these things, we are going to see how to interpret the analysis results for the beam, for the column, for the shear wall, for the every element, how to understand, how to interpret the analysis results, that we are going to see. And after this, the next step will be what? We have to see the shear force diagram. At every of the section you will get two shear force values. You need to see what is the torsion, whether the torsion has been developed or not, whether you wanted to consider the torsion for the beam, or would you like to release the torsion, whether the torsion has been released or not, how you can ensure that, how you can interpret that, that also we are going to see in detail. And once all this gets completed, guys, we have to move towards the design. And when you go for the design, before of the design many settings are importantly needed to be done. ये बहुत important stage है. Actually people are not knowing how to set all these parameters, and that's why their expected design results they are not getting. Sometimes students are raising their questions or they are asking the problems from all of our social media platforms. क्या करते हैं क्वेश्चन, सर मैं G+2 फ्लोर का बिल्डिंग डिजाइन कर रहा हूँ and there is a demand of the column section size 230 by 800. That section size even not required for G+8 फ्लोर 9 फ्लोर बिल्डिंग. उतने फ्लोर के लिए बिल्डिंग के लिए इतना सेक्शन का रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है. आप G+1 and 2 फ्लोर के लिए लग रहा है, because you are not sound with the basic concept. You are not sound all these design parameters, how to set all these things, what to choose. Ordinary framing you should have to choose, ductile framing you should have to choose, sway and non-sway framing type or you have to choose, what these all values have to set. Okay, ये सब चीजों को कैसे define करना है, they are not knowing. How to decide the orientation. Orientation is very important. Positioning is very important. Overall design is depends on the positioning and orientation. आपने वही wrong किया हुआ है. Your skeleton, your framing is wrong. So how you are expecting the design requirement will be as per your expectation. आपके expectation के according कैसे होगा? That is not possible. So you have to learn all those things कि framing को कैसे decide करना है, design parameters को कैसे define करना है, how to keep all the design parameters in your control so that your results will be in your control. Okay, so that we need to see in detail in our program. And your choice of the framing type will decide the design. Ordinary framing, ductile framing, non-sway framing, sway framing, that is what deciding the design of different structure element, and especially the column. The column design will depends on the framing type. So this chart is a very interesting chart and very important chart to understand the algorithm of the Etabs software and to understand the design approach of the Etabs software for doing the design of your column element. Okay, after all of this, if any member either any members are failing or not, we have to check after the completion of the design. You should have the knowledge how to interpret the design results, you how to read the reports of the Etabs software. Okay, how to read the reports of the Etabs software for the column, for the beam, for the shear wall, detail study. Yes, stability magaj stability checks will also do, don't worry. Lateral deformation, displacement of the floor slab, beam displacement, that all stability checks we will do definitely. As I told you, after the completion of analysis we will do the detailed analysis result checks for the results, whether the all loads were transferred or not, whether your structure is stable or not, everything we are going to cover in detail. So after the completion of the design, you have to interpret whether the design results are correct or not, whether all the design were done as per the codal recommendation or not. Sometimes students are asking questions, sir, on upper floor I am getting higher percentage of the reinforcement demand, higher design demand, and the lower floor we are getting less demand. Why this is happening? Because the load is transferring from the upper to lower floor. So design should be heavy on the lower floor and design should be lighter on the upper floor. But it is reverse we are getting. So why this is happening? It is a very important topic, very important concern. The most commonly asked question for the case of the column. On the top floor we are getting more percentage of reinforcement. On the lower floor we are getting less percentage of reinforcement. Okay, so this is also what we are going to answer this question, right? Thereafter, see, suppose if any column is going to fail in during your design, so what would you suggest? Can you write in the chat box? Suppose while doing the analysis and design, you will find that after the design, suppose one column is going to fail. So what solution will you suggest? Tell me. Just write in the chat box. If for an example any column is going to fail, okay, after the completion of design, so what suggestion, what solution will you suggest? Hurry up, write in the chat box. Increase the size of the section. Section size increase. Section size increase. Check the design report. Hurry up, just write in the chat box. Utilization ratio, change the parameters of the column. Very good, Prashant Khair. Change the grade, redesign, grading, release the movement in beam. Okay, very good, very good. Hurry up. I would like to know what will be the solution if any member is failing, and especially let's say column is failing. So what would you suggest? Release the upper side release reason of the failure. Yes, very correct. So actually you all are giving the right solution. You have to increase the section size. Yeah, very good, very good. Surya Teja Reddy is suggesting to change the orientation of the column. If it is vertically positioned, you can change the orientation to horizontal. Very good option. We can increase the grade. We can check the design parameters. We can change the design overrides. We can revise the design parameters. All these are the different options to get the solution or to pass the design of the column. But guys, it is the trials. If you are increasing the section, your member may pass, or it will remain as failed. If you are the same thing will happen with changing of the grade of the material, with changing of the section size, with changing of the positioning orientation. So these are the trials. If you want to directly find what is actually the problem, you need to see the report. So the first thing is to see what is actually the problem, what is the actually the cause of the failure. आपको सबसे पहले ये देखना चाहिए कि फेलियर का कॉज क्या है. Without of directly giving the solution, without of directly giving the treatment, you need to first find the problem. पहले प्रॉब्लम को फाइंड आउट करना पड़ेगा, देन हैव टू सजेस्ट फॉर द सॉल्यूशन. राइट और रॉन्ग? आपने प्रॉब्लम को देखा ही नहीं, डायरेक्टली सॉल्यूशन आपने सजेस्ट कर दिया. यस और नो? सो हाउ यू विल कम टू नो व्हाट इज एक्चुअली द प्रॉब्लम. प्रॉब्लम है क्या, पहले वो तो पता करो आप. And how you will come to know that problem? By looking at the design report. And who can read the design report? Only those person can read the design report, those who are actually knowing the algorithm of the software. Design report कौन understand कर सकता है, and then who can give the right solution? Those who are actually knowing the algorithm of the Etabs software or whatever the software you are going to use. So in the beginning of the demo session, I said that if you are going to learn the software, learn the design approach, learn the algorithm, learn the steps what the software is following to do the design. So if we are going to learn the Etabs software, तो इसमें हम लोग डीपली अंडरस्टैंड करेंगे कि सॉफ्टवेयर डिजाइन किस तरीके से करता है. Okay, so that you will understand by reading the design report, and while following the design report, design calculation, you will come to know what is the cause of the failure. Either your column is failing in the compression, either your column is failing in the flexure, either your column is failing due to the long column effect, short column effect. Okay, due to what reason your column is going to fail, due to what reason your beam is failing, due to what reason your shear wall is failing. You need to know all those things, and thereafter what you need to suggest the solution, you need to apply the solution, getting. And thereafter we need to see whether the your Etabs software is following the code or not for doing the design, for finding out the reinforcement for the beam, for the column, whether the spacing criteria is followed or not. So all that checks, all that designs we can do with the help of spreadsheet. So guys, any project you cannot do by taking the taking the help of our spreadsheet. At different stages we need to take the help of spreadsheet for doing the load calculation, for doing the design validation, or some of the elements we are especially doing the design with the help of spreadsheet. For an example, the floor slab, for example of the basement wall, for the example of the what I can say foundations, for the for validation of the long column design, short column design, sometime beam validation, validation of the beam design between your Etabs software and manually we are taking the help of our spreadsheet. So these spreadsheets are very much important to complete the project, and we are having our advanced level Excel sheet, well customized Excel sheet for designing, for doing the load calculation at different stages. Okay, so that also we are going to share with you all guys through this training program. In this training program we are going to share this bunch of Excel sheet. Okay, those who are going to join our training program. And our structural engineer is only not responsible for doing the design of the structure. Our being a structural engineer, our responsibility is to save the money, and design is only the stage and the mainly stage where you can reduce the cost of the project by doing the optimization. So what are the practices we are adopting for doing the optimization in your design? That we are going to learn how to reduce the section size, how to reduce the percentage of the reinforcement, how to reduce the loads. Okay, that we are going to see in detail. And after the completion of the designing and optimization, we need to prepare the schedule, we need to prepare the detail, we need to prepare the final design report or design sheet for the site execution. That sheet we have to send on site for the site execution. So we should have the idea, we should have the skill, we should have the codal knowledge to prepare the schedule and detail and final design report, design sheet for the site execution. So that we are also going to see in this training program in detail. Not once, we are going to learn scheduling and detailing twice in this training program. Why? You will come to know shortly. So guys, for G plus 5 floor, for G plus 6 floor, for G plus 10 floor, G plus 15 floor building, if suppose you are going to deal, and if you are going to manually prepare the schedule and detail, it takes hell lot of time. It takes a hell lot of time. And being a structural engineer, after a certain year of experience, you will not responsible to deal one project at a time. Multiple projects you have to deal at a time, and you have to release that drawing, you have to release that report, you have to release the schedule in a short period of time. And if you are trying to do all those things manually, it will be very difficult. Manually means in the CAD software, so it will be very difficult. So you need to take the help of any software, any tool to release, to sort out the problem of the time to complete the project. And the solution option is your STAD Rcdc. Only the STAD Rcdc there will be the option, okay, so that you can complete your project in a short period of time. So now there will be the introduction of the second tool of this plant training program is Etabs, RCDC and Excel. So RCDC will come into the picture for preparing the schedule and detail in a short period of time. So how to connect your RCDC with your Etabs software, that we will see. How to export the report, how to import the report, what challenges are coming, how to tackle all that challenges from transferring the analysis report from your Etabs to the STAD RCDC software. Your STAD RCDC software is a secondary software. STAD RCDC software is the secondary software. Your Etabs is a primary software. So secondary software will obviously be having the necessity of your primary software. So unless you are not importing the model definition, unless you are not importing the analysis results in the RCDC software, RCDC cannot do anything. RCDC कुछ नहीं कर पाएगा जब तक कि आप इसको ज्योमेट्रिकल डेफिनेशन नहीं देते हैं, मटेरियल डेफिनेशन नहीं देते हैं, एंड यू आर नॉट डिफाइनिंग द एनालिसिस रिजल्ट्स, एनालिसिस डेफिनेशन, ये सारी चीजें जब तक कि आप इसमें इंपोर्ट नहीं करते हैं, आरसीडीसी सॉफ्टवेयर कैन नॉट डू एनीथिंग. आरसीडीसी सॉफ्टवेयर वर्क्स स्टार्ट फ्रॉम डिजाइन. ओके, आरसीडीसी सॉफ्टवेयर कैन डू द डिजाइन, कैन डू द शेड्यूलिंग, डिटेलिंग, bill of quantities. The software can show bar bending schedule can be prepared by the RCDC software. All these later things can be done by the RCDC software, but the RCDC cannot do the modeling. RCDC cannot do the analysis. In the RCDC software, we cannot do these two things. So how to handle this RCDC software? RCDC software actually we are using for the purpose of scheduling and detailing. So how to set the definition of the different element design, schedule and detail, especially for first case for the beam. So how to set the definition for the beam, how to define all the parameters, setting parameters, design parameters, modification parameters, report generation parameters, bar bending schedule generation parameters, how to set into in the RCDC software, how to do the grouping, that also we are going to discuss. Okay, so once you give a one simple click, so RCDC software in a short period of time will prepare the complete schedule. If you are going to prepare this schedule, it takes hell lot of time. अगर आप इसको मैनुअली करने जाते हो तो ये बहुत टाइम लेता है, और RCDC क्या करता है, एक सिंगल क्लिक में विद इन अ मिनट्स, विद इन अ सेकेंड्स, इट कैन प्रिपेयर द कंप्लीट शेड्यूल, इट कैन प्रिपेयर द कंप्लीट डिटेलिंग. पूरा डिटेल आपको शॉर्ट पीरियड में करके दे देगा. दोज हु आर नॉट नोइंग RCDC, फॉर देम, let's say whatever the number of beams is present at the particular floor, it can generate in a short period of time the schedule and detail for all the beams. Let's say 100 beams are there, सब बीम्स का प्रिपेयर कर देगा, सेक्शन भी बना कर दे देगा आपको. ओके, लेट्स से फॉर द कॉलम, सेम थिंग इज कैन बी डन विद द कॉलम, कंप्लीट डिजाइन, शेड्यूलिंग, डिटेलिंग, ओके, reinforcement, everything were shown by the RCDC software in a short period of time. For the floor slab as well, for the shear wall as well, okay, everything can be done, for the foundation as well. So in this training program guys, we are also going to do the foundation discussion, foundation design will be there, and that we are going to do with the help of our spreadsheet, with the help of our STAD RCDC software. So those who are having the confusion whether we are going to deal for the substructure design or not, so definitely we are going to cover the substructure design as well by the Excel sheet, by the STAD RCDC software. And the project that we are going to take at the intermediate level, we are going to discuss the foundation design as well. Okay, so don't ask this question whether we are going to cover the foundation or not. So definitely we are going to cover the foundation as well. Okay, so these all complete design, scheduling, detailing we are going to complete in the light of this book of practical guide, and this book of practical guide also we are going to share with you. So Excel will also be shared, book of practical guide will also be shared, project file will also be shared, model file will also be shared. Whatever the things is required for your learning, for your understanding, and you are looking on the screen, that all will be shared with you guys. Nothing will be hidden, nothing what we are going to secure, we are going to share with you guys, don't worry. Okay, so in that way we are going to complete our intermediate level, and you can feel that, you can understand that after the understanding of this intermediate level, after the completion of intermediate level, after taking the hand over this intermediate level, you will feel confidence to deal the complete project on your own as a professional structural engineer. Okay, so just write in the chat box, I got all the things from this intermediate level, what we are going to cover, what you are going to learn. Write in the chat box, hurry up. I got all the things from this intermediate level. Write in the chat box, hurry up. I got this, what we are going to cover, what you are going to learn from this intermediate level. Okay, so after the completion of this intermediate, very good Prashant Khair. Okay, now next is your advanced level, and that will be our last level of our this training program. And whatever the things that we have not covered in the beginner level, that we have not covered in our intermediate level, we are going to cover in the advanced level. And the objective of this advanced level is to deal with the tall structure, its framing, its stability check. Our advanced level mainly focusing on the stability checks, mainly focusing on the implementation of the all clauses of IS 1893, IS 16700, and some of the clauses of IS 13920. All that advanced clauses, important clauses for the tall structures, for the concern of the load application, for the correction of the analysis, for the stability checks, we are going to learn in the advanced level. And after the completion of our advanced level, our participant will feel confident to deal any of the project which is actually tall structure. Okay, so what we are going to cover in the advanced level, we need to see that. So very first you need to understand three important things when you are going to deal for the tall structure. Also for the medium rise structure is important, that is what stiffness, that is what ductility, that is what strength. These three things are very much important. It is also for the intermediate, but when you are going to deal for the tall structure, it is becoming more important to keep all these things in a proper proportion. Then you can ensure the stability of your structure. Strength, stiffness, ductility, what are their definition, how you can ensure it with your framing. आपको अपना framing इस तरीके से decide करना है कि stiffness control में हो, ductility control में हो, strength भी control में हो, in a proper proportion. And very important and very interesting discussion will be there. About 1 hour we are taking in our training program to explain these three terms, and it's important while deciding the framing for the tall structure. जब आप टॉल स्ट्रक्चर को डील कर रहे हो तो फ्रेमिंग प्लान जो आप बना रहे हो, स्केलेटन जो आप क्रिएट कर रहे हो, how to decide it, whether it is needed to take the shear wall or not, how to position the shear wall, how to decide the shear wall, how to check the stiffness, how to control the eccentricity between the center of the framing and center of your load transfer, how you can ensure that we are going to see. What are the different methods of analysis we should have to consider. Okay, so if you are going to see, there is a static method, there is a dynamic method. In static, linear is there, non-linear is there. In dynamic also linear is there, non-linear is there. When to consider response spectrum analysis, when equivalent static method is enough, what clauses are saying, for which level of the building static method of analysis we should have to adopt, for which level of the building, for which level of the structure dynamic analysis we should have to adopt. So that also we are going to see in this particular training program. What is the concept of the meshing? How to implement the meshing for the floor slab, for the beam element, for the column element, how to do all that things, that we are going to see, guys. Thereafter, what we are going to do the manual calculation for the seismic loading, manual calculation for the wind loading for the tall structure. We are having the smart Excel sheet for doing the calculation of the wind load for the tall structure, and that we are going to implement. And after that, this is the meshing for the different structural elements. Why it is important? What is the finite element approach, finite element based approach for doing the analysis, for doing the design? How it is going to be differentiated from your traditional approach? Traditional approach हमारा strip based था. What is the difference between strip based approach? What is the difference between strip based approach and finite element based approach? दोनों में difference क्या होता है? That we are going to see. And stiffness modeling is property modifier, stiffness modifier, strength modifier. As per your IS 1893, as per IS 16700 2017, these codes are required to do the property modification, property modifier, stiffness modifier, strength modifier, sectional modifier. How to implement the sectional modifier, stiffness modifier? What is the in plane stiffness, out of plane stiffness? That also we are going to see in detail. How to do the cracked analysis, how to do the uncracked analysis, how to do the cracked analysis at the service stage, how to do the uncracked analysis at the ultimate stage, how to do the cracked analysis on the ultimate stage. This is what we are going to see. What is the options given in the Etabs software? What is the clauses given in the IS 875 part 2 for the load reduction? How to do the live load reduction? With an example, with a proof, we are going to show the live load reduction in the Etabs software for the tall structure. How to implement in the Etabs software. Then how to define the load combination for the orthogonal structure, non-orthogonal structure, for the tall structure. About 100 load combination we need to define, and that also we are going to see. And now thereafter, modal analysis, P delta analysis. What are their definition? What are their concept? After understanding of the concept, then we will turn to the software. सिर्फ सॉफ्टवेयर में कमांड हम लोग अंडरस्टैंड नहीं करने वाले हैं. फर्स्ट वी विल अंडरस्टैंड द कॉन्सेप्ट, देन वी विल मूव टू द सॉफ्टवेयर, देन वी विल इंप्लीमेंट इनटू द सॉफ्टवेयर, देन वी आर गोइंग टू इंटरप्रेट in the software after the completion of that particular analysis. So that level we are going to see. And once suppose you are going to perform the modal analysis, so as per the codal recommendation, whether modal analysis is in your control or not, stability of the structure in respect of the torsional irregularity will be in your control or not. There will be lots of things we are going to check for the concern of the stability check in the advanced level for the tall structure. Stability check is very much important, and our major focus for the tall structure will be towards the stability checks. Many people will ask this question later on, so I am answering to their question. Stability checks we are going to cover in detail in our training program. Okay, so meshing we need to do. How to do the meshing for the different structural elements, that we will see. And now buckling of the structure will also have to ensure whether it is in control or not. You might have heard buckling of the column, but you may not be aware how to check the buckling of the structure, tall structure, whether the buckling is in control or not. That we are going to see in detail. Now lateral displacement, whether it is in control or not. If it is out of control, how to keep in control. Maximum deformation, that we have to see. We have to see whether the base shear value is in control or not. How to scale the base shear value among the static load case and dynamic load case. How to control that. That we are also going to see. And in that way, guys, we are going to cover our advanced level. What is the concept of the diaphragm? What is the importance of the diaphragm? That we are going to see. Lateral drift we are going to see. and in that way guys we are going to complete our advanced level as well. Okay, so these all topics we are going to cover in this complete training program guys. Base shear match is a very common thing, very basic thing that we will definitely cover. Scaling of the base shear is the same thing. So what code is asking, how to implement that we are going to cover in detail. And after the completion of this training program guys, whatever the real example project we are going to cover, on behalf of yours we are going to prepare project completion report and we are going to share with you. Those who are going to complete the task that were assigned or exercises were assigned during this training program, based on that we will prepare the project completion report, and that project completion report we are going to share with you all guys. Okay, so this is the project completion report. You will get bunch of Excel sheet, you will get the project complete, you will get the certification of the completion of the training program. And once you get all of this knowledge and experience, all this kind of trainings, all this kind of confidence, then no one will able to stop you to get your dream job, to start your own firm. Okay, that you can do easily. So if you are going to look into the market, normally those who are covering some basic things, just command of the software, okay, they are charging about 8 to 20,000 rupees if you are going to look into the market. And suppose someone is going to discuss the real project, they will ask to come in the consultancy and they are going to teach that, so they are asking about 1 lakh rupees or more or less to this value. And those who are going to cover the tall structure, they are charging about the more than 1 lakh rupees. So this complete training and these all 3 levels we are going to teach, and we are going to give the training on this in just of 6,999 rupees is the complete training fee for this, which will include the training, which will include the recording of each session, which will include all the materials, PDFs, book of practical guide, a bunch of Excel sheet, everything we are going to share with you all guys through this training program. And the cost will be just of 6,999 only. And you know, the training is going to start from 23rd of April 2026. Session timing will be in evening 7:30 to 9, and the training fee will be 6,999. There will be the live classes. Whether you are attending or not attending doesn't matter, you will get the recording of the each session as well. Every day it's the recording will be updated and it is going to be added, and that recording will be lifetime accessible, lifetime available. Duration of this training program will be 2.5 months. 2.5 month duration of this training program will be 2.5 months. Okay, and those who wanted to enroll for this training program, they can visit the link we have given in the chat box. Look at your chat box. Team here requested to share the link to enroll for the training program. And guys, very important thing, those who are going to enroll right now, so they have to pay only 6,499. They are getting flat 500 rupees discount as of now if you are going to pay right now. Otherwise, once this demo session is going to end and these 20 participants gets completed the enrollment, the price will be increased to 6,999. So it's request with all of them, those who wanted to enroll for this training program, hurry up, and before of these 20 participants target completed, complete your enrollment in just of 6,499. Okay, so hope that you all understood. Look at the chat box. There is a link to complete your enrollment. Hurry up, or otherwise you can visit our website, and through the website you can see the live training program section. In that live training program section you can find our course.